Hey y'all, you know me, I like to try to catch the water while it's flowing. And somehow when I start yapping and I know people are listening, it helps to pull the juice out. You know what I'm saying? So I had something that was bubbling up and I wanted to share it really quickly. And I find myself with some time in a hotel room to spare. So I'm here. I'm totally wired in, got the laptop going. Gonna try to be productive and move some things through. But I had the most unique experience today, and I wanted to share that with you because I think we can learn a lesson from my experience. So, y'all, I'm executive platinum on American Airlines, and it's partially because I fly. It's mainly because I have the Citibank card where if you pay all your bills on it, you can basically become executive platinum because you pay your bills and you earn it that way. We try to pay that credit card off every month, but that allows me to get bumped up on some flights sometimes. And I have had, you think you know what your first class experience should be like. Y'all, this flight was under an hour. It's in the state of Texas, so this is super short. And I've had amazing stewards, airline attendants, whether I'm in coach or first class. And even in first class, you would expect those attendants to be amazing, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes I'm like, who promoted you to this space? Because this is not your gift. This is not your gift. But today, I had something happen. I got bumped up on this little plane. I almost said, no, never mind. Don't use my points. Don't use my points, my miles for that. It's too short. But I didn't cancel it on time. So I ended up in first class on this little baby plane, flight 45 minutes. And in first class, this gentleman, it's an older gentleman, probably be in his 60s, maybe early 60s. I had my AirPods in and, was busy getting some work done and listening to some things. But he walks up to me very gently and he kind of leans down and he pauses. And then he extends this to me and he just smiles. So I pause what I was listening to and I take it from him and take my little AirPod out. And he says, hello, Mrs. Hurst. We want to thank you for being executive platinum, flying with us today. It's my pleasure to be able to take care of you on our short journey. He said, this is for you. Can I get you anything to drink? Y'all, I have never, and I mean, I've flown all of my life. I've probably flown a lot more in first class in the last 5 years. I have never had anybody give me a card. So he gives me this card. It has my name on it. It says, Ms. Hurst. So I just got to the hotel room and I opened up the card. This is what it says. Ms. Hurst. And it has the date on it. And mind you, I'm a handwriting person. Handwriting matters. I heard they're bringing cursive back in the schools. That's what CNN told me yesterday. Thank you for choosing American Airlines. We greatly appreciate your loyalty. Safe travels, Paul. He gives me I'm assuming his airline number, like maybe his employee number. And then he says flight 3852. Now, let me tell you why this is important. And you know what? I don't think he got this from American. This is just a thank you card that looks like American flags, okay? When I look on the back of it, there's nothing official. That is not American official. So this gentleman has decided to go the extra mile. There is something, y'all, about going the extra mile. Now, I'm no fool, okay? I'm no fool. I think he does mean well, and he does mean to make me feel valued, and he does want to go above and beyond, and he's been living long enough and probably been doing this job long enough to know what would really make the difference in someone's travel. But I'm no fool. He put his employee number down here and my flight. You want to know what that means? That means when you decide to make a comment about your services on this flight, remember who I am. Here's my signature, and more than my signature, here's how you can identify me to make sure that you don't miss giving me input and feedback and encouragement and letting my superiors know that I do an amazing job. There's an amazing woman. Her name is Debbie Titus. She just passed last year. And you should look her up, Google her. She's got all kind of teachings on YouTube. If you want to know how to be a woman of excellence, just watch anything she said. Grab her books off of Amazon. Her daughter is carrying on her ministry. She used to talk about something called the also principle, okay? And the concept is that you go over and above. If someone says, "Can I have a straw?" You bring them a straw and you say, "Can I get you anything else?" I've seen this in my office. Some of the girls, without me telling them to do this, have embodied this. Before they leave for the day, they'll say, "Well, Crystal, I'm about to leave. Do you need anything before I leave?" It is that I've done my duty. I am doing my duty. But also, what else can I do? When I was writing, she's still there. I don't know what chapter it is, y'all, because, you write your own books and then you don't know what you said. But there was a chapter I was talking about, like even talking to my husband. I can say what I got to say. And I can be kind and courteous. I can also put some sugar on it. You understand what I'm saying? I can also go above and beyond in my language to let someone know that you are highly regarded. I like how when he worded this card, he said, he didn't just say, "We appreciate your loyalty." He said, "We greatly appreciate your loyalty." As believers, everywhere that we go, in everything that we do, we should operate with the also principle. You can feed your family on paper plates. There's nothing wrong with that. Do what you got to do. But sometimes, bring out your real dishes. Bring out the placemats. Light a candle at the dinner table. Turn on some music. And when your kids look at you and say, "Why are we doing all this?" Because I greatly value my family. And every now and then, I just want to show you how I love you by setting a place at the table that is remarkable and different. When you are at the store and you're getting the groceries and you already made the list and you're making a meal plan and you know what you're doing and you really don't want to know what your family needs. You call your husband and you say, "Hey, babe, I'm at the store. I made the list, shopping for next week. Is there anything that you like while I'm here?" It's that when you are working for your boss and you literally have done all you're supposed to do and you really don't want to do no more. You don't want to do no more. You already feel like they're not paying you enough. But you say, "Hey, I gave you that report. Would you let me know if there's a way you want that formatted? If there's anything I can do to make that easier for you to read?" I went through the line today, TSA, getting on the plane. And I didn't say anything to the lady. Normally I do. I think I was just discombobulated trying to, me. I was running late trying to get to my flight. I wasn't running late. I just wasn't running early. Okay. But the lady said, as I gave her my license and, she did all the things. And then she gave me my license back. And this was one where you just don't proceed. They have to give you the little paper, like a little blue paper, so that everyone knows your TSA. And she said, "Well, it looks like you lucked out today and you get to go through the best line. Here, why don't you use this? Just keep this visible because all the guys that are back there want to make sure that it's as easy as possible for you to get through and get to your flight." She didn't have to do all of that. You know how they normally do at TSA? "Here, keep this out." She went the extra mile. And I literally looked at her startled because I was like, "Who are you talking to? Are you talking to me?" And she was smiling. I have remarked sometimes when I go through a Target line and someone just seems to be pleasant, I will say, I'll make conversation. "What time do you get off?" And they'll say, maybe 6:00. I get off at 10. I'm like, "Listen, I hope you are able to keep that joy all the way through to the end of your shift because your joy has marked me." And they'll say, "Oh, I love my job." Sometimes you have overflow because you love what you're doing. Sometimes you have overflow because you choose to bring intentional, deliberate also to whatever you do. I love also people. Hey there, I hope what you're hearing so far is encouraging you in your journey. But there's one little thing I want you to know about. I have been asked for a long time to share content that will help leaders. People ask me to coach. People say, "How do you do it? How do you manage your team? How did you build? What do you do to get your finances in order? How do you grow? How do you develop vision?" All of that.
So I'm going to have a concentrated time where I'm pouring into leaders. You can join me in Waco, Texas, April 23rd through the 26th, because I'll be looking forward to sharing with you. You can find out more about the retreat for leaders by going to thesistercircle.com/lead. All right, y'all, let's get back into it.
Also, people get promoted. Also, people get opportunities. Also, people are trustworthy. It makes you know that if there's a way for them to work it out, they will. I want to be an also person. I was visiting with my dad last night. Sometimes after church, I was at praise team rehearsal last night. I stopped by. I called him. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He said, "I'm doing all right." I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm just at home chilling." He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm coming over to chew the fat with you." And he said, "Okay." So we get over there. We talk about everything from church business to family business to what's going on with the kids, what's going on in my marriage. She's telling me he started working out, just chewing the fat. And before I left, I said, "All right, well, I'm about to leave. Is there anything I can do for you before I leave?" He normally says no. But sometimes he'll ask me for something. Here's where I like to take it to another level. Because my dad he's my father, he's my pastor, he's my boss. Out of the 5 jobs that I have, I know him well enough to know what he likes. So sometimes I don't ask him what he likes. I will give him a strong, specific suggestion. "Hey, Dad, before I head out, do you want me to make you some tea?" Now, listen, he's married now. His wife has got it. Carla's got it. But I'm still a daughter. And before I leave, "Hey, Dad, do you want me to make you some tea before I go? I'll make it just the way you like it." And he may say, "Oh, no, you don't have to do that. I know you got to get home." "Oh, Dad, it'll just take 5 minutes. I don't mind." I want to be an also person. I was in the hospital once, and a dear friend of mine, Chandria, came to visit me. I had to go to get a scan or x-ray or something where they come wheel you out the room and bring you back. She had already been sitting with me for a little bit, and I said, "Chandria," I said, "Girl, they're going to wheel me out of here. I don't know when I'm going to be back. You don't have to sit here and wait on me." And she looked at me. She didn't ask me could she stay. She didn't tell me I'm okay with staying. This is what she did because we're friends. And so this is what also looks like when you know people. She looked at me and she said, "Crystal, I will be here when you get back." Made me want to cry. Makes me want to cry now. There is something very amazing about people in this world who are willing to go above and beyond, who are willing to ask the right question at the right time, who are willing to, while respecting your boundaries, make specific suggestions. There is something about people, and the more you grow, the older you get, the more life you experience, you get good at reading the signs, reading the nonverbals. There is something amazing about knowing what people need and volunteering to give it even when they don't ask. I want you to understand the value in being an also person. I've been studying John, and Jesus says to his disciples, they're talking about which one is going to betray him. And Jesus is talking to the disciples, and he says, "It's the one who's going to eat the bread." I'm totally paraphrasing because, I'm not that deep of a Bible scholar. Let me see if I can actually look it up and tell you what it says. But bottom line is, Jesus did the also principle. Because the one who was going to betray him, like in a few moments, he was going to do the thing. Jesus said, here you go. Verse 18, "But the scripture will be fulfilled. He who ate my bread has lifted his heel against me." And I'm telling you this now before it takes place, that when it does take place, you may believe that I'm him. So he tells them this is it's going to happen. So in verse 26, John leaned on Jesus and said, "Lord, who is it?" And Jesus said, "It is the one to whom I will give this morsel of bread when I have dipped it." So when he had dipped the morsel, he gave it to Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot. Then after Judas took it, he took the bread, y'all. Jesus gave him bread and he took the bread. Jesus said, "Whatever you're going to do, go do it." If I knew who was going to betray me, I would not be feeding them. I would not be good to somebody who's about to put me out there and make me have to start the process of a long road to an excruciating death. I don't know that they'd be at the table. I sure wouldn't be feeding them bread. Y'all, that is also that the person who is going to deeply hurt me, deeply betray me, deeply put me in a painful scenario. See, this is not what the world will teach you. The world will teach you, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't be wise, but the world will teach you only one side of the truth of boundaries. The world will teach you, girl, protect your mental health. The world will teach you, girl, you need to draw the line. The world will teach you, they don't need to be taken from you. They will teach you one side of the truth. That's what the enemy loves to do. He likes to teach you one side of the truth. But the full side of the truth is you bring also everywhere. You bring also everywhere. So even with people that you got to draw boundaries with, you still are willing to show up and feed them in the context of God's plan and directive for you. See, this is why I have to catch the overflow, because ain't none of this written down. I literally was just thinking, I'm going to tell y'all to be nice to people. And it's just done turned into a full Bible study. I want you to know the power of your also. And I want you to know that God, just like the enemy is roaring like a lion to and fro, searching throughout the earth whom he may devour, I want you to know that the Lord is looking too. He's looking for somebody who he can use. He's looking for someone he can trust. He's looking for someone who will not just be obedient. Like, let me see, what's the minimum, God? What's the minimum you need me to do? Who's saying, I want to go all the way. I want to be totally surrendered. I want to, Proverbs 3, trust in the Lord with all of my heart and lean not at all to my own understanding. And in all of my ways, acknowledge him so that he will direct my paths. I don't just want to take steps. I want the Lord to establish my steps, because you understand the power of going all the way. So I got a whole tingles going down my back, because I believe that this was a message that I was supposed to share right now, because literally the Lord wanted an also on this, because this is all I was going to talk about. Be nice to people. But it's a whole thing. Maybe I'll actually study it, and maybe later on it will be a message. We'll see. So y'all, go find Debbie Titus's videos. Find some older women in your life to teach you what also actually is at work, in your home, with your husband, with your children, with your friends, with your body, with your hospitality, with your service to the Lord in the church, submitting to healthy authority and leadership in your life. Because see, people don't want to talk about that, but that's healthy. It's healthy to have good leadership in your life and to learn to submit, to learn how to bring your best at work. Find yourself a mentor, some other woman, or if you're watching this and you're a man, somebody else at your company who's been there and done that, and go to them saying, listen, I want to do what you do. I've gone and gotten the degree. I've gotten the job. I need to know what to do to get promoted. And I'm doing what I know to do, and it's not enough. Can you put a little sugar on it and just tell me, if you would just tell me what to do, I want to do what I need to do in order to move the needle forward. We all need somebody in our lives. We all need somebody in our lives to tell us what to do. And sometimes the best also that you can give is to give a little to somebody else who is a little behind you on the road. We all have some extra sugar to give. So here's to airline stewards who write personal notes. And I'm like, I wonder if he wrote this or if his wife wrote it, you know? Here's to airline stewards that use your name, put the date in your card, say we greatly appreciate you, who bring you coffee, and then come back later and bend down with a knowing, kind smile and say, can I refresh that coffee for you? But here's also the airline steward who signed their name. Don't forget me. I believe that God is looking for people who are like, listen, Lord, like the thief on the cross. When you enter into paradise, don't forget me. Jesus, when I get to the gates, you see what I'm doing for your kingdom. You see how I am bowing down. You see how I really want to clap back. I want to clap back, and I can write a CYA email if I have to. If you don't know what CYA is, don't ask me. That's a remnant from a corporate job. But listen, I know how to write a CYA email, okay? I know how to do that. Who know what it is to know that you could totally discredit someone on their job, that you could totally bring to light what the person didn't do, that you could totally cut them at the knees and you be left standing. But then you just say, Lord, is this the moment for that? And if it's not the moment for that, you bless them, and you bless them indeed. You need to know that out here in these streets, that sometimes it's all right to say, Lord, do you see what's happening here? Because I'm going to need you to let this be a reward for me in heaven. Because I'm doing also not for them. I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for you. My grandmother would always say, I'm doing this for your name, Lord. And she washed dishes, cleaned up, watched us while my parents would travel sometimes, while she would talk out loud to herself and pray in the kitchen. I'm doing this for you, Lord. It's for your name's sake. Because these people are going to be dead and gone, but your legacy will live on. What do I need to do so that your name is glorified? What do I need to do so that people attribute my good service and my good works to the God I serve? What do I need to do so that when I get to heaven, you saw what I did. You saw what I said or didn't say. You saw what I sacrificed in my time, my talents, and my treasures, because I was thinking about eternity and the fact that I was going to be there forever with you, y'all. Time is fast. It's moving fast. There's a poem written by C.T. Studd. And I just pulled this up because this is a poem that my grandmother, my dad's mom, used to have written all the way around the house. Only One Life by C.T. Studd. See what I'm saying? This is why I have to catch the overflow, because I can't make this stuff up. Two little lines I heard one day, traveling along life's busy way, bringing conviction to my heart and from my mind would not depart. Only one life, 'twill soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. Only one life, yes, only one. Soon will its fleeting hours be done. Then in that day, my Lord to meet and stand before his judgment seat. Only one life, 'twill soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. Only one life, the still small voice gently pleads for a better choice, bidding me selfish aims to leave and to God's holy will to cleave. Only one life, 'twill soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. Only one life, a few brief years, each with its burdens, hopes, and fears, each with its clays I must fulfill, living for self or in his will. Only one life, 'twill soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. When this bright world would tempt me sore, when Satan would a victory score, when self would seek to have its way, then help me, Lord, with joy to say, only one life, 'twill soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. It's a whole poem, y'all. 3 more stanzas to go. Give me, Father, a purpose deep, in joy or sorrow, thy word to keep. Faithful and true, whate'er the strife. Y'all don't know about ear. Y'all don't know about King James. Pleasing thee in my daily life. Only one life, 'twill soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. Oh, let my love with fervor burn, and from the world now let me turn, living for thee and thee alone, bringing thee pleasure on thy throne. Only one life, 'twill soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. Here's the last stanza. Only one life, yes, only one. Now let me say, thy will be done. And when at last I'll hear the call, I know I'll say 'twas worth it all. Only one life, 'twill soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. Stop reserving your also because they don't deserve it, because you already did too much, because will anyone see it? Will it matter? Because your also isn't about the person, it's not about the project, and it's not about the place. It's about doing the right thing at the right time, for the right reason, for the right person. Because only one life. You only get one. And the only thing that's going to be here after you're done is the impression you left. All right, y'all.